and I hope today was good for you as well. This past Sunday was Pentecost Sunday, and here at the table we talked a little bit about that, why we do Pentecost, or why we talk about Pentecost, or we spend a Sunday talking about Pentecost here at the Table Church. It is a big deal. It's a big deal on the church calendar. It's a big deal in the scriptures. Acts chapter 2 is where we get the story of what happened on Pentecost, and it's always kind of fascinating to me that we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Easter, we have those two big days. We don't really celebrate the Ascension, and we don't really celebrate Pentecost, or we don't take the time, as much time on these days as we do the other days, but both the Ascension and Pentecost are super important to us. One of the things I just want to briefly mention today here on Rhythms of Grace, that I don't know where you are in your spiritual journey. I know this is the way it has been for me. And you hear this every once in a while talking about, why do we need the church? Pentecost, of course, is the story in Acts 2, where the Son has ascended to the right hand of the Father. Jesus has ascended into the heavens. He's promised all along that he's sending a comforter, that he's sending the Holy Spirit. And he is sending the Spirit to do the Spirit's work in the world in a different way than the Spirit has been at work in the world in the past. And there are a few in our evangelical circles that want to kind of minimize that. But no, Pentecost is a big deal. There's something new going on. There's something different going on, especially with the Spirit. But there's also this, that Pentecost, one of the reasons why it's a big deal is because it is the day that the church was born. Now, I realize and I recognize that we have the church in other forms. We have the church before we get to Pentecost. But there is something different going on. You can't just make this one-to-one correlation between Israel and the church, although that is also going on in the Old Testament. But there is something different about the church in Acts chapter 2. And the Spirit descends, 3,000 people are baptized and are brought into the church on that day. And then as you continue to read the chapters, you see churches forming and people gathering around the fellowship of the Word. They're gathering around the meals, and specifically the meal, the Lord's Supper. But they're gathering. The church is born on Pentecost Sunday, and that means it's a big deal. And I know here in 2026 in the United States, Christians have a take it or leave it attitude with the church, and a lot of it has to do with pain. A lot of it has to do with the irrelevance, and I think there has been that's serious. That's a serious concern. The irrelevance of the church. There's all sorts of other reasons why we have a take it or leave it attitude with the church. All I need is my Bible, or all I need is Jesus. I don't need the church. Pentecost Sunday says that's not true. And here's why, among the many reasons why. Pentecost Sunday births the church, and in doing so gives sinners a place to go. There is a where now, where, W-H-E-R-E, to where sinners can go, to find forgiveness, to find grace. And yes, again, I get in our 2026 world of having 150 years of very broad-based evangelicalism. Now we've got non-denominational churches, and Nature Coast is one. But all that has laid the groundwork for us to think, yeah, I could have all that without the church. And the scriptures say, especially Acts 2 is screaming, that's not true. That's not the case. There's something different going on when we gather that you can't get any other day of the week, even by yourself with Jesus. And it's not simply about being together. It's about what you're receiving, because we come together on Sundays to receive. We receive from Jesus the Word. We receive from Jesus the sacrament. You see, worship on Sunday isn't so much about what we're doing. It's about what Jesus is doing for us when we gather together. And it's why we gather together. The church is not a club. It's not a volunteer organization. And we got aspects of it that are that. And we can lead ourselves to think that, oh, we're the ones that came together as the church. Have we ever bothered to stop to think that Jesus has created the church? Because that's what Acts 2 says Jesus has done. Jesus is creating the church through the Spirit. From heaven is mentioned in that first few verses, and it gets repeated again. The church is from heaven. It's given to us. It's a gift. And the reason it's a gift, I keep coming back to this, that in giving us a church and creating the church and creating Nature Coast, sinners have some place to go. We have some place to go. We have some place to go where Jesus is going to give us forgiveness. He's going to give us grace. We have some place to go where we are heard, where we can speak freely, where we can be vulnerable with Jesus, with each other. See, the church is a hospital. Pentecost has created a place for all of us to go. Where do I take my shame? Where do I take my guilt? Where do I bring my shame? Where do I bring my guilt? Where do I go when I don't know what to do with my sin? Where do I go when I don't know what to do with myself? Where do I go when I don't know how to pray? Where do I go where I can just be with myself, be honest with myself, be honest with my sin, be honest with Jesus about all of this in a context in which the whole thing is about forgiveness. The whole thing is about grace. The whole thing is about Jesus giving to me what I can't give for myself. And oh, by the way, it's also someplace once a week where we're not, quote unquote, in the world, so to speak, that we're in a place where we have just we walk through the doors and we bring all of our dirt, all of our guilt, all of our shame, all of our sin, we bring all of that in with us. And then we leave clean. We leave free. See, that's the miracle that transpires when we gather in church on Sundays. That's what Jesus does for us. That's the miracle. He cleans us, he cleanses us, he forgives us, so we walk out free. He provides us rest. That's why this is the Sabbath. The Sabbath has nothing to do with it being a Sunday. It has everything to do with Jesus in his word, through the Spirit, giving us rest. So, Pentecost, yeah, a big deal, because Jesus gave us the church on Pentecost Sunday, and he gave us a place to go, a place where we can just come to Jesus again and have him give us what we need: forgiveness, life, and salvation in his word and in his sacrament. Give us his grace. That's our rhythms of grace for this Tuesday, on the Tuesday after Memorial Day. And just tonight, you can rest easy and you can rest assured, no matter what else has happened today, no matter what else transpired over Memorial Day weekend, no matter what you're facing now as you head into June, no matter what you're facing, Jesus has created a place for you to go. And I encourage you, think about Nature Coast on Sunday that way. And the promises that you receive on Sunday are the promises that carry you through the rest of the week. And so that's why I'm here. I'm reminding all of us, including myself, that Jesus continues to give us his grace, continues to give us his salvation and his love throughout the rest of the week, including today, including tonight. So remember this. You are unconditionally, unstoppably, and absolutely loved by Jesus. He always, always is holding you. He always